Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot takes, Goodman and Haertl. It is snowing outside, which means tomorrow would be a very nice day to sit in front of the television, maybe watch some Nuggets, maybe watch some Avs. But if you are considering hopping in your car and maybe doing some gambling, highly recommend you go to Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos up in Blackhawk. They have another great promotion going on right now. They're going to be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor, nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries every 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming players' points. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Bruce, we are going to talk about in the first segment the Nuggets matchup against the Clippers. Second segment, we are going to talk about the Avalanche against the Stars. We could talk about the press conference between Peyton and Peyton. We can get into that next week. We have bigger things to talk about because we have the playoffs starting tomorrow. We talk about in sports all the time, matchups. I don't know if matchups in any sport that are more important than in basketball because you have fewer players that are playing. It's 5-on-5. In hockey, it rotates. Baseball's different. And then football, you have way too many, permutations and computations. With that, how do you like the Nuggets matchup in this one against the Clippers?
It's a pretty simple one, isn't it, Eric? And it's really a simple one of opposites. The Nuggets are one of the top three offenses in the league. The Clippers are one of the top three defenses in the league. The Nuggets want to play fast in transition. The Clippers are much more methodical in the way that they approach things. Both teams are proficient in the high pick and roll. James Harden is one of the best to ever do it in the game's history. And certainly we've seen enough of what Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray can do in that situation. But it's going to be a very interesting battle of two teams that haven't seen each other since early January. Kawhi Leonard hasn't played 1 minute against the Nuggets in any of the four games that they've played. The Nuggets did average 118 points in those four games against the Clippers, which is 10 points above what the Clippers gave up on a per-game basis during the season. But Kawhi Leonard may be one of the best two-way players in the history of the NBA, and I don't think I'm overstating that. He certainly would be one of the top 10 without question. Didn't play in any of those games. So I don't know where we are on this other than I'm pretty damned intrigued and really looking forward to it.
Oh, I listened to your breakdown. I have a very different breakdown than this.
Good.
And I will start by saying I don't like this matchup for the Nuggets at all. And I don't like it for this reason. You brought up, the Clippers have a top three defense and the Nuggets have a top three offense.
Yeah.
Over the last 21 games, the top offense in the NBA has been the Clippers.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
So they are beyond proficient, both sides of
right.
the floor, specifically with Kawhi Leonard. I like the Nuggets in this if they can get Zubats in foul trouble. Because they've got nobody behind them. They have Ben Simmons. That's who they have. They are not a big team. And while Michael Porter Jr. is big, he doesn't play like a big. Right?
Right.
You have Aaron Gordon, who is a big, and he and Kawhi Leonard are going to go toe-to-toe probably throughout the entire series. To me, that's advantage Kawhi Leonard, isn't it?
I would agree.
And
Absolutely.
Jamal Murray playing against Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is like a Ziploc bag. To me, that is the most difficult matchup for the Nuggets right there. They need to get Jamal Murray going, and Chris Dunn is the type of guy who doesn't allow that.
Yeah, and David Adler.
And defensively, when you look at the Clippers on the perimeter, they're excellent.
Yeah.
They're really good. And Zubats, by the way, is a very good defensive player as well. But let's be careful before we say that because, I don't know, Anthony Davis was a pretty good defensive player. How did he do against Jokic? Gobert, excellent defensive player. How did he do against Jokic? So no matter how good you are defensively as a center, Jokic is just a different beast for you. So the other concern I have is, even though Anthony Davis is an excellent offensive player, and I get that, Jokic kind of owned him.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about Zubats. He rebounds incredibly well. He scores incredibly well. I think for the Clippers, if they can force Jokic to work defensively, advantage Clippers. Advantage Clippers. The Clippers, to me, have the advantage in this series. And it's not because they're playing well. It's because I like their matchups better. Just like last year, I'm not, asking for some sort of trophy for saying this. Nuggets, Timberwolves last year, I picked the Timberwolves to win that series because of the matchup. I like the Clippers matchup better here. I guess my question now is for you. What is the Clippers' defensive game plan? Do you double Jokic and force the other guys to beat you who have been inconsistent? Or do you single Jokic, let him go off for 60, and then shut down everybody else? Because that was always the conundrum when you played the Bulls and Michael Jordan. What you have those two choices. I'm sure Tyronn Lue is going to mix it up, but if you had to prefer one over the other, what do you prefer?
Yeah, I think David Adelman feels, and I've spoken in groups, in conferences with him the last 2 days. It's been interesting. Man, he's a bright basketball mind. But
Yeah.
be that as it may, I think that they're feeling their biggest concern about what the Clippers are going to do has to do with how and with how many people they will defend Jamal Murray with, which I thought was interesting. Now that's the surface message that we got, that they will use a lot of different people at Jamal Murray, and that was something to think about. I think that there's a feeling of, and you just touched upon it, and I think you're right on target. Jokic is going to get his in whatever way, right? He's going to get his. The question is, how many shots are you making him take to get his? How much are you clogging up passing lanes to keep him from allowing other people to get theirs from him? Those are the types of challenges that you have with Jokic. Even if he goes off for 28 or 32 or whatever, 35, you can live with that if you're mucking up the rest of the things for everybody else. But I thought it was really interesting that David Adelman in both days talked about lots of different people being used to attack Jamal Murray, who I think that the Clippers feel, is a key guy to take out. And really, when you stop to think about it, it makes pretty good sense. The one thing that we chatted about yesterday that I think that is an absolute has to happen for the Nuggets, because the Clippers have better depth, period. They have better depth, and they have better defensive depth. It's not even a comparison between the two.
Can I sum it up for you really quickly?
Sure.
So 3 guys they have coming off the bench do 3 very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Bogdanovich is going to score on you. Derek Jones is Derek Jones Jr., a terrific defensive player.
Yep.
And Nicholas Batum, he is a physical, tough guy who plays very good defense. I can't think of anybody coming off the Nuggets bench that can hit you in any of those categories, except for, well, maybe. I mean, you have Westbrook who can score, but he can be erratic and you question his decision-making. Bogdanovich is a jump shooter, and he's a very good one. And then you have Peyton Watson, who's a very good defensive player as well.
He is.
But not as good as Derek Jones Jr.
No. The Clippers have better depth, and they have much better, and they have much better defensive depth. We haven't even talked about Ben Simmons, who was a former all NFL defensive player. I mean, you can't shoot a layup, but I mean, for God's sakes, he can defend. I think the one thing, if there was one thing that I could absolutely guarantee the Nuggets would have, I think it would be their transition game. They run as well as any team in the NBA. Can that translate in from the regular season to the postseason like it did 2 years ago? Oddly, because coaches will tell you everything tightens up in the playoffs. They're lower scoring games. They're more defensive, all of these things. But can the Nuggets continue to run the ball? The way that the Clippers grind on the half court, defensively, even and offensively, even, the more that you can get guys having to chase up and down the floor and loosen them up a little bit with transition is something or other that I think that the Nuggets are really trying to concentrate on, the importance of their running game and getting a couple of easy baskets to kind of relieve pressure from the Clippers defense.
There are two ways to combat the Nuggets transition game. One, make the Nuggets take the ball out of their own basket.
Right.
That's number one, right?
Yeah, right.
Number two is do what the Spurs used to do with the Nuggets when Carmelo Anthony played. When Carmelo Anthony played, the Nuggets were a fantastic transition team as well. And I remember sitting in San Antonio watching those games and sitting at then Pepsi Center and watching those games. The Spurs were a half-court team, and the Nuggets were a fast break team. Popovich coached them really simply. Get back. Just get back. Don't get too deep. Get back. They have one consistent inside presence offensively, and that's Zubats. Everybody else, they're all perimeter guys. Just make sure you get back. That is one way to do it. And oh, by the way, the Clippers are terrific defensively. But now let's talk about the Nuggets defensively. How in the world are they going to find three guys to shut down Harden, Kawhi, and Powell? Who do they have for that? All three guys average 20 points or more.
Yeah.
Who's guarding who? Okay, fine. Gordon's going to be on Kawhi. Then what?
Yeah,
Who's
I think that
guarding Powell?
I think Jamal is going to spend a lot of time on Powell. Well, I mean, somebody's got to guard him.
Wait. If Murray, you said Murray?
Yeah,
So
because
Murray
I think Brown is going to.
Hold on. Murray's going to spend time on the third best scorer. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Kawhi and Gordon will go head to head. That would be a fun battle to watch. But Kawhi's better. Let's just call it like.
Oh, he's better. But at least Aaron Gordon is a physical presence. I mean, they will be interesting on the floor together, right?
Okay.
And then you've got Christian Brown. Then you've got Christian Brown on James Harden.
If those are your matchups, which they likely will be, you can put James Harden down for 25 plus per game. Why? Because, well, first of all, Harden's 6'5". He doesn't look big on the floor when you're watching it on TV, but he's 6'5", and he's a
big body. Yeah, he's a big body.
Yep. And it's funny when you look at Harden's defensive rating, it's much better than you would think. It's like sitting at about 108, but he's not considered a great defensive player. And the reason is because he is such a big body, quick guards get around him, right? So when he is on the offensive end, you think Christian Brown's what, about 6'5" too?
6'4" and change, maybe 6'5". Yeah, I mean, and he's a strong player.
He is, but he's going to get he's going to be on roller skates trying to cover him because Harden's going to keep backing him down, and he's got enough moves. And then we haven't even talked about the pick and roll. And by the way, Zubac.
That's why Christian Brown's defending him. Yeah, right. That they are. Everyone will talk about Murray and Jokic in the pick and roll and the two-man game, and rightfully so. But Clippers run it exceeding. Nobody has been better than James Harden over the course of time in running a pick and roll. And Zubac is really, really good at it.
Right.
It's why Christian Brown is going to get Harden because of basically the downhill nature that Harden plays with. And we know he goes to the free throw line, an almost uncountable number of times during the course of games. But so you got to try to take that away. But a lot of that is designed, and he's been their primary pick and roll defender throughout the season. So let's see what Christian Brown can do. I mean, Eric, I know I think you and I have probably more defensive faith in Christian Brown than maybe anyone this side of Aaron Gordon, right? I mean,
but look who's guarding. Listen, this is, hold on.
Yeah.
This isn't Zubac is a terrific defensive player, but he has no chance against Jokic. He just doesn't, right? Fair to say? I mean, get him in foul trouble, and because they're not big, this is where I like the Nuggets having a better opportunity. And while I'm not going to make the comparison Jokic to Harden, it's really the same thing, Harden being guarded by Brown. Same thing. It is.
Well, that's the challenge.
I mean,
they've got to win. Yeah, they've got to win a couple of those matchups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
By the
you're
way,
absolutely right. I agree.
Who are your three guys coming off the bench? We've talked about this all year. What are the Nuggets going to do with their bench come playoff time? We are here. Who are your 3 or 4 guys, and who do you feel confident in?
Confident in?
Enough said. Let's move on. Let's just make a prediction because I think you just said it right there. But I say that jokingly. If I'm the Clippers, I feel confident in the 3 guys that I just rattled off because of the things that they bring: Bogdanovich, Derrick Jones Jr., and Nicholas Batum. I feel confident in those guys. You feel confident in Westbrook coming off the bench?
No, I mean, I think that.
Who do you feel confident in? So I want to hit a break.
Confident? No, I don't feel confident on any of them from a two-way perspective. Right?
Well, you're not.
I mean,
but you know you're not getting a two-way. So who do you feel confident in?
No, there's not a two-way guy coming off the bench. No, there's not.
Okay. Well, they don't really have a two-guy either. Usually, two-way guys are starters. They usually bring something, and that's why they're not starting. Right? It's kind of like in baseball. If you're a 2-pitch pitcher, you're a reliever. I feel confident on my fastball and my breaking ball, but I can't throw an off-speed pitch.
Yeah,
starters have 4
pitches.
Right? You get my point. Okay?
Yeah.
So
no, I get your point. It's going to be It's going to be Westbrook and Watson, and then we'll have to wait and see.
Pickett, maybe.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, maybe Pickett.
Who do you like in the series?
Clippers in 7.
Clippers in 7. Oh, to me, it's Clippers in 6. But win at home.
6 is a better number. 6 is a better number because then it ends in LA.
So you want to change the pick?
Yeah. I mean,
copycat?
Although, no.
Yeah,
I think I'm with you. This matchup is this matchup makes me a little nervous, just because of who the Clippers are, what they've done down the stretch, the fact that when you add a player like Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy and productive, you're helping a team. What? They're 20% better just by having him in the lineup. I
think
I don't know.
With Kawhi with Kawhi back in the lineup, I do know for the last 21 games, or really since the beginning of March, they are the top offense in basketball, and there's something like 123, 124 points per like 100 possessions or whatever the hell that metric is. They are a dynamite defensive team. Right. And then you have, Kawhi and Harden seem ageless to me. Don't they? They seem ageless. It feels like they've been playing forever, and they're still playing at the highest level. Then throw in Dunn defensively, then throw in Powell offensively, and Zubats, I don't know, 13 rebounds a game. This guy's a beast. He is looking forward for the Nuggets. If they continue to advance through the Western Conference, Zubats will be the best center that Jokic will face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe if you get to Houston, but no, I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely right. I think look, I will say this, and it's not a hedge on a bet. It's not. Anytime you have Nikola Jokic, you got a chance. The Nuggets have a chance, but I think that they have to do more things well consistently than the Clippers do. The Clippers bring more to the table that you have to account for than the Nuggets do, even with having the best player in the world.
Coming up after the break, we're going to preview the Avalanche against the Stars. That's tomorrow night at 6:30. Would you say that this is a coin flip matchup, Bruce? Briefly, we got to hit a break. Your brief is a 2-minute soliloquy.
Yes.
So briefly, trying to get in a break. You think it's a coin flip? Is that right?
Yes.
I don't think it's a coin flip
at
all. I don't think it's a coin flip at all.
All right.
That's next.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor or nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming player points. And all daily cash drawings that don't get picked are eligible for a second chance drawing on Wednesdays, and that can turn into extra cash. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver. Okay, welcome back to the show. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. You think this is a coin flip? I'll give you one area where I am worried for this upcoming, playoff matchup, and that is for as great as Blackwood has been, top 10 save percentage, top 10 goals against average. He's never played in a playoff game. That is a big concern. Now, once he has the first one under his belt, I'm fine. But I think that is an intangible that we should look out for game one. And oh, by the way, if Blackwood is terrible, you do have a pretty good backup who has played in 3 playoff games his entire career. All, by the way, against the Avs, ironically. How big of a concern is that to you? How big of a concern is that to you?
Well, I think it's always a concern until you have some proof that the otherwise, right? Until it doesn't become a concern. And the answer to that concern is, what's the blue line look like and how are they playing collectively defensively? Do you have faith in the Avs overall defensive umbrella in front of whomever is in goal. They've got to play. They've got to play a very solid defensive game in this series. I think there's very little to choose from between these two teams. So, but I mean,
what do you mean by that? Little to choose from.
I think both teams. I think both teams have pretty solid depth. Both teams have good goalkeeping. Both teams can score with various lines and play. I think Robertson's got issues at this particular point, but I think both teams are somewhat healthy, relatively healthy going in. I mean, everybody's beaten up a little bit this time of the year. I don't think there's much to choose from. I think that these two teams, there's a reason they finished like 49 or 50 wins and 49 wins and there on. I mean, we've been sitting. How long have you and I been sitting here talking about Dallas and the Avs? Hell, it's been a month. I don't. There are no secrets between these two teams at all. I mean, so I'm going
to ask you a question so you can ask me questions.
All right.
If you look at offense, defense, goaltending, special teams, and coaching, the Avs are better in every area. In every area. Period. Every area. That's why if this was a home ice for the Avs, they win this in 5. They win this in 5.
All right.
Because they don't have the home ice, they win it in 6. Go ahead. Because people will say, oh no, look how deep the Stars are. The Avs are deeper. The Avs are deeper than the Stars. But there's a reason why I'm saying that. I'm not just flippantly saying this. The reason why I'm saying this is people look at the Stars and say, well, if you look at their top 3 lines, they have 8 guys with 40 points. 7 of those guys are forwards. That's pretty hard to top, wouldn't you agree? Those are some pretty darn deep lines, wouldn't you agree? Avs are better.
Yes.
No, but on paper they're not. And that's my point. On paper, they are not. The Avs currently have 2 forwards on their roster right now with 40 points or more. That's it. They have 2 guys, Lehkonen and McKinnon. That's it. So you're thinking, how in the world can the Avalanche compete with that type of depth when they only have 2 forwards who have 40 or more points, McKinnon and Lehkonen, and they have 7? Here is your answer. Because it's not too hard to look at a box score or stats to see how little Druin played this year, how little Nichushkin played this year, how many games Natchez played for the Avalanche this year. If all of them played, and when I say all of them, if you had Nichushkin, Colton, Natchez, Coyle, Nelson, and Druin, if all of them played 75 to 80 games, all of them would have been at 40 points or more.
Absolutely.
And oh, by the way, all of them are healthy. All of them are going to be able to play. We haven't even thrown in Landeskog yet, but we don't know what he is going to be. And then let's just throw in for fun. The Avs have the 2 best players on the ice in McKinnon and Makar as well. Offensively, they are better and deeper. You have Kivi Ranta, a 20-goal scorer playing on your 3rd line? Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Who would be replaced potentially by Landeskog. They are deeper and they are better. That's just offense. Why are they better defensively? Well, for starters, they have the top defensive pairing in hockey. But Miro Heiskanen might not even play. He's a top 5 defenseman in this league. Top 5. He might not play at all. And people, I don't know if they conveniently forget, why did Cale Makar have some troubles last year in the playoffs? Do you remember why? Tanev was all over him. He's not going to be all over him playing in Toronto this year. So really, they're missing 2 great defensemen. The Avs are better defensively. Goaltending, that's the big wild card, right?
Yep.
Because you have a guy who hasn't played.
Yep.
You have a guy who hasn't played in the playoffs, and his backup has played 3 games. What have we said about an Avs team that has been offensively minded, offensively driven, moving the puck, playing with speed? The one area that this is like we talked about the Nuggets against the Clippers, this is a contrast in styles. Dallas is a patient team. They are a very fundamentally sound team. The Avs are a team that like to bust up and down the ice. Which style is going to win out? But without Heiskanen, that's a big deal. And without somebody like Tanev on Makar, that's a big deal.
How much of a factor is Mikko Rantanen in this series?
That's a great question. I look at that in a couple of different ways. The Avs are going
Mikko
to be...
Rantanen do anything to move the needle at all for taking
What's
on
that?
an Avs team? He's a guy that has to be accounted for at the very least.
How effective is he going to be as guys in the locker room circling his orbit to play hard for him? I don't know. I know the Avs will be playing hard for Landeskog.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a big emotional push. I don't know how. Listen, Rantanen's a really good guy, but he's not a killer. That's not his personality. I know he probably wants to do really, really well. The question is, will his teammates rally around him to give them a lift? I know that will happen in the Avs locker room for Landeskog. Mikko Rantanen is a great player, but he's not the same player without Makar and McKinnon. Period. Sorry, Mikko. It's just a fact. When you get to play in a power play with McKinnon and Makar, you're going to gobble up points. Just statistically, who would you rather have? Statistically, right now, Necas or Rantanen? Who'd you rather have?
Necas.
But wait a minute.
I'd rather have Necas.
Mikko Rantanen is a top 5 player in the league.
With you.
And that's my point. I mean, it helps to play with those guys. Like
he's not playing with McKinnon and Makar.
Just like I think Bruce Brown
right.
got a nice big contract with the Pacers because he played with a guy who makes everybody better, just like Makar makes everybody better and McKinnon makes everybody better. Kadri got a huge contract because he played with those guys and Landeskog and Rantanen. That stuff helps. Rantanen is still a point-a-game guy. Don't get me wrong. But he's not 100-point scorer without those guys. He's just not. And by the way, the best offensive player on the Stars is another former Av who's having one of the best seasons of his career, Matt Duchene. So Duchene, I think, will always have something in the tank for the Avalanche.
Yeah.
As far as Rantanen goes, what kind of a lift? Yeah, I mean, you can call it a revenge tour if you want to. That's fine. I would guess, though, that Bednar is going to really want to be physical with him and push him around because while Rantanen isn't a guy who will necessarily back down, he's not a Nichushkin-type physical guy. He's a big guy, but he's not overly physical. I think if you push him around and get him uncomfortable, I think you could do some damage to him, meaning he doesn't do a lot of damage to you. McKinnon, you cannot push around. You can't. He's not the type of guy you can push because mentally he's strong and physically he's a brick wall. So I think Rantanen. I'll be curious.
I think about the path that the Avs have, and it's one skate at a time, obviously. I get that. I was trying to think of a team's path to a final being more difficult than the one that the Avs are about to embark on. We talked about this a little bit earlier this week, but you've got Dallas,
Yeah.
who
Then Winnipeg.
for some is, and then Winnipeg, then more than likely, Vegas maybe on the backside of that in a Western final. I mean, it's absolutely crazy the steps that they have. But I feel confident that the Avs will take the first step. I feel confident that they're going to win one of these first two games in Dallas and put themselves in a really good position to win this series. So that's kind of where I'm at on this thing.
I was listening, and now I can say it because we don't have a radio station anymore. I was listening to Altitude, their midday show, and they were having this exact same conversation, that this could be the most difficult path for any Denver team. Then they started looking at, how about the 1997 Broncos when they went to the Super Bowl? This is the most difficult, and here's the reason why. Or maybe for the Broncos when they won it in 2015, they had to face Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. You know what the difference is? One game.
Sure.
You got to beat Winnipeg 4 times. You got to beat Dallas 4 times. You got to beat Vegas 4 times. And unless it's Florida, the Panthers, who seem to be in the Cup Finals all the time now, when you get to the Stanley Cup Final, maybe that's when you get a chance to breathe and say, "Whew, not facing these teams, we can relax for a couple." And I say that jokingly.
Of course.
You got to pick. To me, it's the toughest matchup when you have to win 4 games, not 1 game. Hey, you know the game. We know the phrase "any given Sunday." So football can never be the toughest path under any circumstances. You can play Hall of Fame team by Hall of Fame team by Hall of Fame team, meaning you can have a lineup where you are playing. If you have a road to a Super Bowl, and this is a lot of hyperbole, and I get it, but bear with me on this point. You can play the 1960 for the Broncos. Let's say they have a path to the Super Bowl this year. They can play the 1970 Steelers, okay, in round 1. Then round 2, it's going to be the 1980s 49ers. And then it's going to be the Patriots over the last, 20 years. That's your road to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay. That's less difficult than this one, potentially for the Avalanche. Why? You don't have to beat the 49ers, the Patriots, or the Steelers 4 times each. Any given Sunday. Anything can happen on 1 game. In this case, you got to beat Hellebuck 4 times. Wow. You got to beat the Stars, who are so sound, 4 times. Wow. That's why it's so difficult. And let's not get into the Nuggets path to the winning the NBA championship, which wasn't a cakewalk, but it wasn't difficult either.
No, I think 2 years ago, it's stunning to look at how the difference in the landscape is now in the NBA West than it was 2 years ago. They went 16-4 2 years ago. The only team to beat them twice in the playoffs was Phoenix. Can you imagine a team going 16-4 through the West right now? And then think about who the Nuggets haven't even seen. They haven't seen Luka and LeBron together. Houston's a totally different team. We've already talked about the Clippers. They're going to see them with Kawhi Leonard for the first time. Jimmy Butler now is at Golden State. They've not seen that dynamic at all so far this season, right? It's such an amazingly different landscape than it was just 2 years ago. It's absolutely remarkable. But which one are you looking forward to more?
The Avs or the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Oh, the Avalanche.
Me too.
Not a knock on the Nuggets. I just think that the reason is I think the Clippers are going to win this series. I think it's a better matchup for them. And just to recap, because their perimeter defense is stout, Jokic is going to be a problem for sure for the Clippers. If Zubats gets in foul trouble, huge advantage for the Nuggets there. But when I look at individual matchups, specifically with the starting five, advantage Clippers, specifically Chris Dunn on Murray, which I think is going to be a very big deal. The bench, there's no comparison. They're going to have to ride Jokic. And I'll be curious to see what the Clippers do. Do they double Jokic and say, okay, everybody else beat us? I mean, do you feel confident Michael Porter Jr. with an open three look? Do you?
Hasn't proven it very much in postseason play. So
I mean, here's the funny thing.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Statistically for Murray, this has been his best offensive season in terms of points per game. For Aaron Gordon, it's been his best season statistically for three-point shooting. For Christian Brown, his best season by far. Michael Porter Jr., I think his assists are up, and I believe his rebounds are up. So statistically, every Nuggets starter individually, you look at their numbers, you say, wow, they all made improvements. Not to mention, Nikola Jokic just had arguably the greatest offensive season of all time. Yet, how do you feel as a whole about the Nuggets starting five as a group? You feel good? And everybody improved. Do you feel really good about their starting
five?
Good.
I feel good. I just don't. I feel good about their starting five. I don't feel as good about their first eight.
Like you're trying to convince
and I know
yourself.
that. No. And the Clippers are so much. The Clippers are. If you are who you are, the Clippers are the team to be careful about here because they're a defensive squad first. It's not like the Nuggets all of a sudden are going to become a really good defensive team. They are going to be who they are. They're going to try to outscore you. They're going to try to track meet you. They're going to try to score 120, 122 points and hope that that you can't stay with them. The Clippers have a defensive identity that they've lived with all season long, and one that's been enhanced by the addition of Kawhi Leonard, who would make, by the way, any team in the NBA an immediately better team defensively.
Here, how good would you feel about the Nuggets if they had three guys who were averaging 22 points a game? How good would you feel? Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, they already score 122 points a game.
What's that? Bruce,
they're already scoring about 122 points a game.
Bruce, just listen. How good would you feel if the Nuggets had three starters, pick whatever three you want to, who are averaging 22 points a game or more? How good would you feel about them offensively against anybody? If you had Murray, Jokic, and pick Gordon, Brown, whoever else you want. If you had three starters averaging 22 plus points a game, how good would you feel about the Nuggets offensively against the Clippers? Stout defense. Quickly, we're almost out of time. Give me a quick answer.
They're good enough offensively. I don't need improvement offensively.
Just answer the question.
How good would you feel? Yeah, great. They almost do. Michael Porter Jr. has 18.5 points a game. So, they almost have three that average 20 a game.
That's not 22. 18 is not the new 22. It's just not. What the Clippers have is they do have three guys that average 22 points a game against a suspect defense. That's what the Clippers have. Three guys who can burn you any night. Michael Porter Jr. can burn you once every 10 games. Jamal Murray can have a great 8-week stretch. You just don't know what you're getting. And he's coming off of an injury. It's too inconsistent. The Clippers are too consistent offensively. And oh, by the way, Zubats is 17 points and 13 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
Didn't even include him. Okay, how many Nuggets players are averaging 17 points a game or more? 3, maybe? And at least with Zubats, it's consistent. With MPJ, it's not. Clippers have consistency offensively and defensively. What are your final thoughts on either playoff series?
I again will reiterate, more things have to happen for the Nuggets than they do the Clippers. That's why I'm going with the Clippers in this series. I think it goes deep. I like the Avs in 6 on their side of the equation. And it could be even better than that if they get one of those 2 in Dallas this weekend. So looking forward to both. And I think off we go. I'm really excited here for the next couple of weeks.
Real quick, would you play Lehkonen tomorrow night? Or would you play Lehkonen tomorrow night or give him some more rest? And remember, this is why I'm saying this.
I think you probably try to give him a little rest.
Fine. So this first game back will be game 3 at home. Would you go down that route? Or would you play him against Dallas tomorrow night in Dallas?
Is Landeskog back tomorrow?
Landeskog can play tomorrow, I suppose.
I mean, I need to know about Landeskog, I guess.
No,
So,
would you play Landeskog tomorrow if he's healthy in Dallas game 1, or would you let him rest, get as healthy as he can be for game 3? What would you do?
I'd be okay with Landeskog tomorrow, game 1 on the road. I don't mind emptying the chamber in game 1 when you're on the road against a team that is of a very similar ilk to you. That's a huge win. If you can establish that beachhead in game 1, man, it changes the complexion of the series tremendously.
Right. All right, that's going to do it for us. Enjoy the games this weekend. We will talk about them on Monday as well. There's going to be another game on Monday. And then there's some overlap. Thanks, schedule makers, putting Avs and Nuggets on the same, not only on the same day, but as they cross over. Brilliant. Bravo. Stay safe in the snow. Play in the snow. Don't eat yellow snow. Make it the best possible weekend you can.